Most people look at snow and they say cold, white, what else is there to know? But the blanket of snow that we live with is vastly different in the Arctic than it is, say, in Kansas City or New York City. There are tremendous differences in the material properties, and so the blanket, which keeps heat in, is an insulator, is a material that you can motor over or go through or shovel. Its strength, its insulation, the amount of solar radiation it reflects changes dramatically depending on the type of snow, and it changes in most places through the season. So people who just look and see white are really not looking close enough. The big thing it reflects is climate. So once you start studying snow, you pretty much find yourself connected to almost everything out there. What's the color of the Arctic? White. There's a brief period when it's not white, but for 9 to 10 months of the year, it's a white world covered with snow. That's the natural state of the world. Summer's the peculiarity. We tend to focus on summer because things grow then, life comes back. But when you think about time, the Arctic is white. That's why snow is important. It's best to think of snow as being a very complicated material with a single color. If it came in different colors, probably people would have a little less trouble. They say, oh, you got some red snow now. But in fact, it's the differences you can find in snow are as dramatic in many ways as if its color did change. The best way to think of snow is to think of steel or iron in a smelter just before it melts. At the Earth's surface, even at the coldest in the Arctic, it might be minus 40. So it's 40 degrees below the melting point. If your car was heated up to 40 degrees below the melting point, all sorts of strange and fabulous things would start to happen because the metal would just about be liquefying. That's the state snow exists in at the surface of the Earth all the time. Sometimes the temperature gets even closer to the melting point, maybe just 10 degrees below it. So you're dealing with a material that's so close to its melting point that it's essentially can be thought of as kind of volatile. I've been sort of at ground zero looking at, well, so how does the snow play that role? How does it do it? What's changing? Change has been occurring, will occur, and when the Earth's systems change, the snow changes. The reason my research is important to the issue is snow is one of the unstable members of that system.
In terms of the effect of snow on global climate, if you want. If you think about a whiter planet, it's a cooler planet. If it's April and all of a sudden all the snow in the Arctic goes, then sure enough, there will be more energy absorbed in the planet. But if we look at long-term averages, snowmelt's coming several weeks earlier than it used to. And this has a profound impact on every aspect of the Arctic you can think of. The single biggest impact, though, is probably this. When the landscape is covered with snow, it reflects about 80% of all sunlight coming in. Tundra, it reflects only about 10%. There's a 9-fold difference in the amount of energy absorbed by bare tundra than snow-covered tundra. In order to figure it out, what may happen in the future in terms of climate, we may want to understand the role of the snow in this particular energy balance of the planet. What's really interesting to me is people haven't really quite caught on of how dramatic this change is. There's a very new paper by a friend and colleague of mine named Chris Dirksen and Ross Brown that looked at the rate at which the snowmelt's changing, and it's every bit as fast as what's happening with the Arctic sea ice, which of course makes the news almost weekly. It's as fast as that. The area covered by snow is being reduced by almost 17% per decade. It's 2% per year. And we're talking about across the whole Panarctic. This is big. I worked it out. We're sort of losing a Nevada-sized area of snow cover on a given date each year. It's a big change. No matter what way climate change actually ends up going, snow's not going to disappear from the Earth. It never has in the geologic record.
and it's going to play a role. In the Arctic, of course, with 9 months of snow cover a year, it's still going to play a major role. Whether it shifted down to 7 months of coverage or 11 months, it's going to play a big role in moderating, changing, and controlling the system.